Hi guys, welcome back to Irish Footy Vlogs. Welcome back to another prediction show. Myself and JP, we had a good week last week. JP finishing 9-all. 3 points for you in Bowes, Dundalk. 3 points for you in Sligo, Rovers and Galway United. You also picked up a point in Rovers and Prague, Zurich and Shells, St. Patrick's Leg and Vaduz. For me, I picked up 3 points in Bowes, Dundalk, 3 points in Rovers and Prague, a point in Drogs, Waterford, a point in Sligo Rovers and Galway, and a point in Zurich and Shell. So 9-all. Overall, I lead by 105 points to 97. First up, JP, I'll let you take this one. Massive game at United Park. Drogheda United taking on Bohemians. Drogheda United looking for back-to-back results at home and back-to-back wins, obviously, in the league. Bohemians 1 win and 12 in the league. Have you seen this one?
I'm seeing it as a difficult game for Bohemians. We talked about them in the review show and how much of a clinical age that they lack. And I think Drogheda have that because they've a good goal scorer in Franz Piro. I've seen the goal he took the other night, and Adam Foley as well, who's been around the league quite a
Mm.
few years. And Drogheda are at home as well, which makes it an even more difficult tie for Bohemians. Um, and Drogheda will want to build upon the result on Friday night against Waterford. Um, and with Dundalk playing Galway, they'll possibly see as an opportunity to close the gap on them. But what it does do is they'll see this as an opportunity to get themselves closer to Bohemians in eighth place as well. So, um, think it'll be a good game. I think both teams will score, but I'm going to go for 2-1 Drogheda.
2-1 Drogheda. Drogheda beat them 2-1 earlier on the season, United Park, and the last one they faced was a 1-0 win at Daleyman for Bowes, which was a tight enough match, actually. Drogheda look better set at the moment. Bowes, as I said before, like the last show, for example, they're playing some nice stuff at times. Devoy will be back for this game. So him
Hmm.
and Tierney will be in the middle of the park, and it does make a massive difference to them. Um, they're going to have to win at some point, and I know Drogheda are playing very well at the moment, but I'm not sure if they can completely turn around their fortunes just like that, Drogheda. You know what I mean? So I'm going to go for Bowes maybe to win this one 2-1, I think, JP. Dundalk take on, I'll go with this one first. Galway United at Oriel Park. And I've said this before, I'll have to say it again, though. They have a dreadful record in recent times against Galway this season, for example, losing 2 games against them by 2 goals to nil, and the cup game last year by 4 goals to nil. So that's not pretty reading if you're a fan of Dundalk. And their home form was based on a brilliant clean sheet record, wasn't it? But with so many changes now in their back line, even though I thought they defended very kind of heroically in the second half against Bowes last week, but I think that was mainly down to the way they defended as a unit as well. So the defence was a bit protected, at the same time. So, yeah, I mean, Galway lost their last game, didn't they? Up in Sligo, to be fair. I don't see them dropping points here. I'm just trying to convince myself whether it's going to be a draw or a win for Galway. But I do think they're going to get something at least from the game. You know what? I'm going to go for a Galway win here. 1-0. I think they might nick it 1-0. Go on, Junior gets the winner. They
Junior
get
to get
bonus points if that happens.
Yeah, because he was at Dundalk as well. That's one of the other
Well, he was
clubs he
at
was.
everybody, wasn't he?
He must play nearly everybody in the
Including
league. But
these here.
um, yeah, a difficult game for Dundalk. Like they've a lot of we talked in the review show about becoming difficult to beat. They had that run in the league where they hadn't conceded in 8 games at Oriel. But as I said, they've lost twice already this year to Galway. 2-0 in both games. It's at Oriel Park, you see, and I know they've a bad record, but John Daly seems to have steadied the ship a wee bit for them.
Mm.
I'm going to go 1-1. I'm going to go 1-1 in this game.
An all draw. Two different results so far. Waterford FC and Shamrock Rovers, you're going to be going here first. Just to add a bit of context, though, Shamrock Rovers won here earlier on in the season 2-1, but Waterford had that brilliant win, didn't they? The 3-1 win at Tallaght Stadium.
Yeah.
Shamrock Rovers will be coming into this game on the back of a second leg tie over in Czech Republic. So will that leave them vulnerable, one wonders? Will Stephen Bradley arguably have more of an eye on this game? That's the other point as well, because in the race for Europe, obviously Waterford are ahead of Shamrock Rovers at this minute in time, and so Shamrock Rovers fans, I'm sure, would consider this a massive game. It's unlikely to turn it around in Prague. So Waterford obviously struggling their last two games, didn't they? Losing both games, so they'll be looking to hit back here, but a couple of players missing. Be interested to see how they adapt. Have you seen it?
If it was the Waterford of before the mid-season break, then I'm seeing
Mm.
a Waterford one. As you say, Rovers do have that game in Prague, but I think they've another game after that too, haven't they, Keith, in Europe?
Oh, they
Um,
will. So they'll
yeah,
be pairing the next week, I think, regardless of the result against Prague, I believe.
yeah. So
Yeah.
but it's crucial for Rovers that they get back into Europe via the league, because they're out of the cup. Well, for now they're out of the cup anyway. So it's important that they don't get caught adrift. I know they're going to have a couple of games in hand, but it's points on the board that matter because they're guaranteed. And with this form that Sligo are in, they, they don't want to be getting caught adrift to them because they already are. And Waterford have been up there most of the season, so they'll want to. As I said, Waterford will see the result on Friday night as a missed opportunity to extend that lead over Rovers with this game coming up. But Shamrock Rovers will know that the important thing for them is they get back into Europe for next year because they'll not want to miss out in Europe.
No,
Um,
no.
so they're coming back from Prague. They have to go to Waterford. Then they have to go to wherever they have to go to after that.
Because I think it'll be an away leg as well, I think. Mm.
I just don't know what Waterford will turn up because if they had the likes of Asamoah, he touched on the crucial Bagley's back, which is crucial for them. Their goalkeeper's out injured. They've still got Connor Parsons and Paul Hammond there.
Mm.
I'm going to go a draw. It is my call, isn't it? It's my call. I'm going to say 2-2 draw.
Yeah, I got a draw as well, but 1-1 was the draw I was going for. St. Patrick's Leg and Sligo Rovers on provisionally for Sunday 6 o'clock. There's a slight chance to be moved to Monday, um, but I think that's only if Pats get knocked out against Vaduz. They're obviously 3-1 up from the first leg. It's certainly not over, but Pats will be coming back regardless from Liechtenstein after a second leg tie to play a team that's in massive form at the moment. And I think they played Bank Holiday Monday, the last time they played each other. Pats beat them 3-0. It was John Daly's probably best performance of the season with Pats. I think that was a Bank Holiday Monday too, actually. Obviously, this, as I said, is provisionally for Sunday, but it's a Bank Holiday weekend. I
Can't
look,
I can't see this being a Monday game if Bows and or sorry if Pats have a Thursday game. I can't see that.
it's unlikely, but either way, I think it's going to be a very difficult game, JP, for Pats on the back of a European game. Psychologically as well. Um, nearly especially if they win in many ways, if that makes sense. Sometimes when you're in a high, you come down to the league games, but it is important that you try and pick up results in the league. But Sligo are playing so well at the moment and are playing with a real fervour as well in attack. Warwood's playing well. They're going to have a rest. They're going to be confident. Having said that, I do think Pats might get something out of the game, but it won't be a win. I'll go for a 0-0 draw at Richmond Park. Not the first time I've said that in the last few weeks.
Hmm. Um, yeah, Sligo in very, very good form. 4 in a row, five if you include the cup. Pats are out of the cup, so the only way they can get back on the earth next year is through the league. It's going to be really difficult because there's four or
Mm,
five teams above them that they have to out. maneuver in the second half of the season. I don't see them getting that consistency. They um they maintain it and get under there.
No.
Sligo, as I said, four in a row. Can't they make it five? I'm going to say 1-0 Sligo.
1-0 Sligo. The only one we've gone for is Waterford, actually, in Shamrock Rovers so far. Now, the big one, I think it's fair to say, is Shelburne and Derry City. Are you going to that one, by the way? Talca Park
No
Monday?
holidays.
Oh, you're on holidays. A good thing or a bad thing? It depends on the result of the game, doesn't it? No, Shelburne and Derry City Talca Park on Monday is an absolutely massive game, and we know Shelburne have the game on Thursday against Zurich, but let's be honest, they're unlikely to turn that around. So you'd be pretty certain that Damien Duff has both eyes, even if he says otherwise, on this particular game, which is on Monday. As in, you know what I mean? They've a decent break, Shelburne, after that home tie in Europe as well. So, yeah, I mean, you look at the league table, you're going first with this one, aren't you? I'll just lay the groundwork as such. If you look at the league table, there is 3 points, and I'm Shelburne have a game in hand against Bowes, but there's no guarantee you win that game in hand, as you know. You know what I mean? So, there is 3 points between them. It's a massive, massive game. They tend to be very tight in general. It feels like to me, JP, in my head, it's a bigger game for Derry City for some reason.
Well, it is because they're the team chasing at the minute. They they haven't beat Shamrock Rovers this year. They haven't beat Shelburne this year. Um, and if they're
Mm.
going to win the league, they're going to have to change that, in my opinion. And no better way to they start now. As you said, Shelburne has that game in hand. That's not guaranteed. Derry's a better goal difference, so a win for Derry puts them on top on Monday night, and that is the incentive for Rory Higgins and his players. Is if you come away from here after 90 minutes, we are top of the table. We came down here in Bank Holiday Monday, Easter Monday, in April. We were 8 points behind. There was a likelihood if we'd lost, we were going to go 11 points. You have a chance now to win this game and go top of the table. Put your authority on this title race. They played very well in the second half against some Pats, especially in the second half. Can they bring that to Toka Park? It won't be as easy against Shelburne as what Pats have made it. But the one thing for Derry is Shelburne are going to be missing Paddy Barrett and is it Tyreek Wilson? I
Yeah.
always get mixed up. Which is I think is two of their first choice back four, isn't it, Keith?
100%.
So it'll be interesting to see on Friday night. Now I know Shelburne they're gone in Europe. I think the 3-0 is going to be difficult for them to overturn. But what they do have is they've a long standing unbeaten record at home in Europe. And
Yeah.
I know they haven't been in Europe in 18 years, but predating that they hadn't lost to Lille, they hadn't lost to Deportivo La Coruña. At home they hadn't there was other teams that they hadn't lost to. I think Odense was maybe another one.
Yeah, Odense, yeah.
So I think that it's spanning 7 or 8 matches, if not more. And
Mm.
they might want to try and have an opportunity to maintain that kind of record. So they might, for the first half, they might maybe try and go out, see what they get, and then Duff maybe might ring the changes and start taking players off. And but what he might do, I think, and I was just thinking about this today, is knowing that he's going to be without Paddy Barrett and Wilson for the Derry game, is he might try and put in who he thinks is going to play on the Monday game. He might try and put them in, get them knowing, get them in, see what they're like. Well, he probably knows what they're like, but
Notably, Barrett didn't play in the cup game against Bray, by the way.
Barrett.
He didn't play in that match, incidentally.
No, yeah, but he was still down on the suspension list that was
Mm.
for last year or for the last week. So
Mm.
I'm assuming that he's going to miss it. So
Mm.
so it'd be interesting to see what he does with a lineup on Thursday night. Well, does he go full strength or does he mix and match it? Does he have an eye in his back four for Derry? Will he try and play them to see? I know it's Zurich. Comparing Derry and Zurich as chalk and cheese, but you can get a look at them and see um what because I know he's made a few signings at the back. Maybe he
Mm.
might want to put them in and see how they get on. And but it's a bigger game for Derry, I think, Keith. As I said, like Derry, they haven't beaten Shelburne, they haven't beaten Shamrock Rovers, and they have to change that, and they have to change it this week. I feel, and as I said already, the incentive is if they go down to Toka Park and they win, they're going top of the table, heading in. Yeah, Shamrock or Shelburne will have that game in hand, but I think it's Bows away, isn't it? Which is not
Yeah,
easy, not easy. And if I have always said that if Shelburne are going to win the league, they're going to have to stay in front, and it'll be interesting to see if Derry win on Monday night and go top of the table. What Shelburne have then? They come back at them. I think after that, Shelburne go to Sligo. So they'll be wanting to come into this Derry game, get come out of Derry game unscathed. Maybe they'll be happy with the draw probably, and go to Sligo and see if they can get out of that. But I'm first, aren't I? It's me first, isn't it?
oh, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I go with yeah, I go with my heart. Um, because my head's telling me another draw,
mm,
but do I go with my heart? Um, do you know what? I'm gonna go 1-0 Derry.
he's gone
I'm
for
gonna
it. Yeah,
go
my
1-0 Derry.
my heart isn't involved, but my head is telling me a draw, JP. So yeah, I'm going to go for 1-1. My worry from you've talked about a bit of Shelburne there. My worry from a Derry point of view is will they go for it really? You know what I mean? That's my worry for Derry. Will they kind of almost think
I
that
think
you know what, a draw mightn't be too bad here, and there's that's my worry for Derry. Do they actually go for this and kind of go in their heads? From the management and the group, really, we need to win this game, or do they think in the back of their heads themselves? But the draw would be kind of okay because I think Shelburne would be reasonably pleased with a draw. And don't get me wrong, they'd love to win the game. Don't get me wrong, but they would be
look.
reasonably pleased with a point too.
I think
But
Derry will
my worry for Derry is if they're in that same mindset, even though they're a bit behind. That's my only thing with Derry.
be pleased with the draw. But will they go down there for a draw? Like
That's the
the
question.
system, the system that they played against some Pats, I thought really suited them.
Mm,
It really did. It was like a 3-4-3, and then when we
mm,
lost the ball, it became a 5-3, 5-4-1 or something. But when we had the ball, we it was attacking. And I thought that really suited them because I got men close to Hoban. I
mm.
got Doherty closer to Duffy. Um, and I think player for player, I think player for player, Derry are better than Shelburne.
Yeah, individual players. Yeah,
Individual players, but as a team this season, Shelburne have been better than Derry.
exactly. Yeah,
Obviously, that's why they're top of the table.
yeah.
Does Rory Higgins go down and say, well, you know what, a draw's not a bad result. We stay three behind them, and then looks at the bigger picture. Derry
Mm,
play Dundalk the following week. Shelburne go to Sligo.
mm.
But in
I'm not
his
saying you can't have to be clever. You can't go down and just be gun ho and then suddenly get
no, no,
picked
I don't
off and
think it,
stuff.
I
But
don't
you know
think
what I mean, though.
I don't
They
think they'll
should
do.
be trying to plant their authority on this and say, they're getting all the plaudits. Let's say they're top of the league, etc., etc. We need to show people why we think we can win the league. I think you need a Derry performance there, in that
That's
sense.
and I think that's why they'll not go gung ho for it, but I think that's why they'll go for it.
Mm,
Yeah, you do run the risk of losing the game by doing that, but you get the reward. If you take a risk, you
mm,
sometimes get the reward, and I think that's why Derry will go down there and and they'll they'll not completely go for it, but the way they played in that second half, Keith, against some Pats,
mm,
if they play like that, if they can play like that every week, they'll beat anybody in this league. And I'm thinking they have to stamp their authority at some stage
mm,
if they want to win the league. And I think the only time Rory Higgins has beaten Damien Duff, aside from the cup final, has been at Toka Park. He's never beat him in the Brandywell, so it's a good venue for Rory against Damien Duff. I don't think I think Duff he'll probably have two eyes on this game.
mm. I
But
think so.
um I think he'll probably go on it and say to Derry, well, what have you got? Shows what you've got. I think that's the approach he might take. Or he might go totally different if you seen what he did to Shamrock Rovers earlier in the season. First half. they went for it and they were 3-0 up at
Yeah, they
half time.
obliterated them. Yeah.
So he could take that approach as
Mm,
well. So it'd be an interesting one to see. But I think Derry will go down there and have a bit of a go
mm.
and try and come away with the win. But if they don't, they'll be happy with it with a point out of it. So they will.
Yeah, I'm looking. I'll be there at the Park. I'm really looking forward to that game. For the purposes of the prediction show as well, JP. Obviously, there's a European show if people want to look at the discussion in the European show, but we'll give our predictions for the European games. First of all, it's Vidoos and Pats. I'll go for 1-1, which obviously be enough for Pats.
Yeah, you were obviously at the game and
Mm,
um you were obviously at the game on Thursday and they seemed to play well, Keith.
mm,
So they did.
mm.
Sorry, I'm just recording the predictions here. We don't have to look back at them. Um, I think Pats will probably take a draw out of that. But I think they'll go out there and I think they'll go out and they'll win. So I do. I think they'll win 2-1. I think.
Shelburne and Zurich, as I discussed in the show, it's unlikely to go through. But for coefficients and stuff, it's still good to get results. Um, you're first with this one, aren't you? In terms of
Yeah.
giving the score, yeah.
Um, as I said there, when talking about the Derry game, is they do have this unbeaten home record in Europe that they will probably maybe want to try and maintain without knowing that it's unlikely that they're going to overturn the first leg deficit. But they will have an eye probably an eye and a half on the Derry game on the Monday. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of team Damien Duff selects for this. I just don't see them getting anything out of it. I hope they do for the coefficiency sake, but I'm gonna go 2-0 Zurich.
Yeah, something similar. I went 1-0 Zurich. And finally, I suppose similar really, isn't it? Shamrock Rovers go over to Prague and play Sparta in that second leg. I'm going to go for a repeat of the 2-0, to be honest with you. I think Prague will win 2-0. I don't think they'll hammer them because I don't think, for a start, they don't need to hammer them. So 2-0 Prague.
No, I think Prague will be. They'll know they're in the next.
Pragmatic.
Right? Aye. So they'll probably have one eye on the next round and just basically making sure that they don't give Shamrock Rovers a sniff of getting back into this round. Um, and what do you say, 2-0?
Went for 2-0, yeah, again. Same score as the last time, yeah.
I think I'll go 2-0 as well for Prague.
Brilliant stuff. Thanks, JP, for coming on. Thank you for watching at home. Subscribe to the channel. Let us know your views. Send us your predictions. And thanks again. Thank you, JP.
Here's Keith.